The Conservative Party confronts the Liberals on food prices and demands that they take accountability. The Liberal Party doesn't seem to want to talk about it at all. Welcome back to the Canadian Shield. My name is Sterling.
Same Liberal promises, the same Liberal results. Canadians are paying the price for another Liberal Prime Minister's broken promises. This Prime Minister said to Canadians that he would be judged by prices at the grocery store. Results are in. This Prime Minister has failed. Food prices have surged 40% since the last Liberal Prime Minister broke that same promise the last time. Should this Prime Minister's promise to Canadians not be judged by food prices at the grocery store, but the number of families being forced to food banks?
Right.
Hear, hear. The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, the number one cost for Canadians is their housing, and we have taken action to make housing more affordable. Yesterday, the Prime Minister and I announced the launch of Build Canada Homes, which will be a one-stop shop for making housing more affordable across Canada. And we're launching that on 6 pieces of Canada lands, 4,000 homes that we will start building immediately. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Foothills.
Canadians can't afford to put food on the table, let alone pay for the Liberals' bureaucracy when it comes to housing. But let's be clear. This was the Prime Minister's promise. These were the Prime Minister's words. This is the Prime Minister's failure. Food prices are going to go up $700 per Canadian family this year. Canned soup is up 26%, apples 14%, tuna 19%. The daily essentials have become unaffordable. Is sticker shock at the grocery store the experience that this Prime Minister promised Canadians?
The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As far as promises delivered goes, this government promised to launch Build Canada Homes and make the largest investment in affordable housing in Canadian history. We are taking action where it matters most, and Canadians need support on affordable housing. Across the board, we need more support, but starting with housing, and housing first, particularly for those on low incomes and those who are homeless. We are taking action.
Minister told Canadians that they should judge him by the prices they pay at the grocery store. But food inflation is 70% above target. The grocery prices are up 40% in less than a decade, and all of those years the Liberals were in power. And the cost of food has risen overall more than inflation every single month that this Prime Minister has been here. Canadians should judge the Prime Minister by his words. That's only fair. But is it that he never shops for food, or is it that he thinks inflation is something that happens to other people?
The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, we'll come back to the number one cost for Canadians and concern is around affordability of housing.
That's so true.
I know the Conservatives and the members opposite do not care about affordable housing. We're here to take action on it. Make life more affordable for Canadians, starting with their homes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Good work.
The Honourable Member for Thornhill.
The minister cannot ignore the problem of millions of Canadians using a food bank every single month. And that hasn't changed. It happened under this Liberal government's watch. And now they're making excuses or changing the subject entirely. Canadians are getting fleeced at the grocery store. And it's only going to get worse because next year their bill will be $700 higher per family. That's another Liberal broken promise, another Liberal bait and switch by another Liberal Prime Minister. So is that the experience that he's now promising Canadians?
L'Honourable Ministre des Finances.
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
We listen to Canadians, something that the Conservative may want to do a bit more. And what Canadians have told us, Mr. Speaker, is affordability is the first concern. The second is housing, and the third is the economy. What have we done, Mr. Speaker, while the leader was away? The first thing we did for Canadians was to reduce taxes for 22 million Canadians, Mr. Speaker. Everyone got a raise on Canada Day, Mr. Speaker. The second thing, we removed GST on first-time home buyer, Mr. Speaker. And we are going to build with Canadians, with every Canadian, the strongest economy in the G7. That's what this Liberal government is about.
First of all, when I hear Philip Champagne talk, all I can think of is George Costanza from Seinfeld and how he used to say, oh, if it's not a lie if you believe it. The inconsistency is kind of strange, though. I remember Mark Carney saying that he is going to be judged by the prices of the grocery store. And I pay attention to these things, like I keep a close eye on it. For example, if you go to the grocery store, you'll see that there are food products that are made in China that are a good 20% cheaper than food products, the exact same food product, made in Canada. And of course, that's because the carbon tax isn't put, the industrial tax isn't put onto the Chinese stuff. There's no tariffs put onto their product coming into Canada. There's only the tariff and the extra additional taxes, the industrial carbon tax put on our agriculture industry. Because the Liberals, being far left, they believe that you shouldn't have a good car, you shouldn't have a nice house, and you shouldn't have inexpensive food. For some reason, they believe that talking and taking on and harming and limiting the very basics of life, the things that billions of people all over the world dream about. I mean, imagine in your mind, when you are looking around yourself, what is it that everybody is chasing? A decent meal, a nice car, and a nice house. And the Liberal government wants to tax all of that to the point where we can't have any of it. This is not the kind of leadership that we were promised when they were running around talking about taking on all of these issues. And food prices is they're out of control. Of course, one of the quickest ways to get food prices back into control is to control the manufacturing costs, which is to say, take off all of the federal taxes, take off all the provincial taxes, take off all of the taxes on the fuel charges that they have to make, because Canadians deserve to have that food brought to them inexpensively. And as well, we need to break the monopolies of the grocery chains in this country, which I guess would be a different topic. But you heard it. They were asked about food, and all they did was talk about housing and some phantom tax cut. If Philip Champagne's tax cut was so good, how come it is Canadians are still concerned about affordability? How come it is Canadians are not saying, oh, we're doing much better now? There's a contradiction even in his own words from one sentence to the next. And of course, that's probably because he's not listening to himself talk. He's just hoping that nobody else is listening to him talk. Of course, here on the Canadian Shield, we are paying attention. Like, share, comment, hit the notification bell. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you next time.